If got a white boy on my roster, he be feeding me pasta and lobster, was a person, it would be Nina. All I needed was one extra trope, the surprise pregnancy, and I would have ascended to heaven. Hey chapter besties, what's up, and welcome back to another video. For those who don't know, my name is Angie, and welcome to the June recap. We read 10 books, 3,206 pages, which is really good for me because my goal has been to read over 3,000 pages a month. And although I did not make my goal of 12 books this month, I did do 10, so that was great. We are not going to beat ourselves up because we're not reading 25 books a month. Whether you're reading one book a month or whether you are reading 17 books a month, you are still doing good. You're still doing a great job, and don't let anybody convince you that you are. I just have goals for myself just to try to reach towards something each month, challenge myself, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes I make the goals, sometimes I don't make the goals, but as long as I'm loving what I'm reading and I'm enjoying it and I'm happy, that's all that matters. So let's get into the 10 books that I read after I just gave my little motivational speech and talked everything. Go ahead, you got it. Books. So the first book I read was Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I actually started this at the end of May and it just trickled over into June. So it was kind of like a half and half. And so it follows Xavier and Samantha, and they meet in his veterinarian office. She brings her kitten in because she's trying to get advice on the kitten because she found it, it's a stray, whatever the case may be. And they kind of have like a not so meet cute. He's very grumpy, she's very sunshine and rainbows, and they have a mutual attraction. Like, you're cute and all, but I don't really like your attitude. This is her to him, and he thinks that she's cute. And so they end up, maybe like some weeks later, after she proves him wrong, they end up going on a date, but then she pops out with, yeah, I'm moving tomorrow. And so they start this kind of long distance relationship, I guess, because they really had this mutual connection and they didn't want to lose it. So they start this long distance relationship, and within it was just so much drama, so much back and forth between how this is going to work, like, just financial stress. And then he had stuff going on with his parents, and she had a parent that required a lot of attention. And so it was just a lot of things happening in the book, and I can understand why people would rate it mid or say that it wasn't Abby Jimenez's best book, because it was just a lot of back and forth, kind of a lot of repetitiveness of, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So I did end up rating it 4 stars because I personally enjoyed it. I loved seeing where they were going to go. It was just more so the journey of how they got to where they needed to be, and I think that's why I rated it 4 stars. I may go with 3.5, I don't know, but we're gonna say 4 stars because that was my initial reaction, and we're just gonna stick with that. So the next book that I read, y'all, and I got a full video coming on this series. It was the last book in the Windy City series. Actually, it's not the last book because we are getting a spin-off of one of the characters' father. So it's not the last book, and that's coming in 2026, but I think that'll be the last book. But I'm so sad to see this series go. It was Rewinded Back by Liz Tomfort, and when I tell you, each book just got better and better and better. This was my favorite book in the series. It followed Hallie and Rio, and they were childhood friends, childhood lovers, boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, they had a very strong relationship, and something happened that really wasn't their fault that pulls them apart, and they don't really find out what it was until they get older. So they end up seeing each other because she's back in Chicago doing interior design, and she did it for Rio's next door neighbor. So when he comes in the house, because he's friends with the neighbor, he's like, who did this? I'm going to hire them. And so she's like, oh yeah, it's my new roommate. Y'all, she done moved next door. So now we're in like it's given a little bit of forced proximity, second chance romance, friends to lovers. Like, it's given all the things, right? So I mean, just all of my tropes in one. All I needed was one extra trope, the surprise pregnancy, and I would have ascended to heaven because I would have got everything I needed in one book. But anyway, so Hallie and Rio, and Rio is the best friend to the female main character in book number 2. So you'll see Rio all throughout the previous books, and he's somebody that is looking for a relationship, but the whole time we don't know that he's still wrapped up in Hallie. We don't know that in these books. We know it as we're going, as this story is being told, that he still loves her. And so when they see each other again, because now they're next door neighbors and now she's his interior designer, it's kind of a forced proximity situation, and they have to have a tough conversation of what transpired, because they're both hurt and they are both like, I don't want to see you go a second time. And Rio's kind of like that once he gets over his initial I'm pissed off with you, I don't like you stage. And so you kind of see their relationship unfold like that. I definitely recommend it. I definitely give it 5 stars. I definitely give this series 5 stars in totality. Highly, highly recommend this book. Okay, so the next book that I read was Love You Little Bit by Cashapp Thompson. And I did read a Cashapp Thompson book before, so I'm not new to this author. But I think the book that I read in last March, I think it was Take a Chance. I'm not sure. It was a novella. So this was kind of more longer. It was like 295 pages. But anyway, it gave black romance, black country romance, black star. So it follows a girl, and she's part of a duo country music group. And they're like chart topping. People know them. Well, something ends up happening within the group that kind of breaks, you know, challenges them. And so the female main character, she ends up heading back to her hometown. Well, when she gets back home, she's greeted and she sees one of her friends from high school, and he does not look the same. He's fine now to her. Like, the body is given. He's strong. He's muscular. He looks like a man. It looks like somebody that she's interested in. And so they have a little bit of history there that they're trying to work through. And then they had other factors in people. This is why you gotta keep people, especially family, out of your business. That was kind of keeping them apart. And so there was some miscommunication in there because other people were getting involved in their relationship. And so it follows them trying to navigate, will her career stop her from the country life that he likes and wants to be in? So that's what that's about. I rated that 4 stars. Is it something that I would recommend? See, here's the thing. You can like a book. I can 5-star a book and just not want to recommend it to anybody, because I have to want to recommend something to you if it has like deeper themes to it where you can kind of get something out of it. So this was one of those reads that was just very cute. It was just very something that you would read after a heavy book. It's not something that I would be like, oh my gosh, you gotta read it, even though I loved it and rated it 4 stars. So take that with a grain of salt. If you want something that's less heavy, this would be the book for you. The next book that I read was I Want to Be the Reason You Smile by Nisha. I think this was a debut book by this author, and this was my family's book club pick. So this is the book that we read in the Reading Relatives book club for the month of June. I did end up rating this 3 stars. It was a novella, or might be considered a novella. Anyway, it follows Kendricks and Kayana, and both of these characters have been through it with breakups. Like, they've had some bad breakups. Kayana was pretty much screwed, and this was her first real relationship. She was just so screwed that she just swore off men. And then we have Kendricks, who his girl left him in pretty much some shambles, like just pretty much used him up. And yeah, and so the way that Kendricks and Kayana meet is really, really cute. And the whole the friends knocking on the door, seeing if she needed any help, and coming in and helping her do stuff, and her frying them chicken and whatever the case may be. But one thing that I loved about this book, and I've been reading a lot of books like this year, books where you can genuinely see on paper, you can feel in your heart that they are building this genuine friendship. They're attracted to each other, right? But they're building this friendship, and then boom, next thing you know, I like you. Like, I really, really like you. And that's what this book gave. And I love that feeling. Like, this is why we read. When you can just feel the build up to that friendship. Just fun, hanging out, good vibes. And then, let's explore this. And so that's what this book gave. The next book that I read was Where We Found Our Home by Natasha Bishop. Now, hi, my name is Angie, and I love romance and suspense. But when you put romance and suspense together, baby, You're automatically getting a 5-star. I don't even care if the suspense is very minimal. You're automatically getting a 5-star. And this, on top of it being Natasha Bishop, because I love me some Natasha Bishop, okay? I read one of her books last year, only for the week. It was last year sometime. Absolutely loved it. A great summer rec for anybody that out there looking for summer recommendations. But I love Natasha Bishop. I love her writing. I get very invested. One of her other books that I read this month, it was one of those books where I had stuff to do and I was like, I'm not listen, this goes on the back burner. I'm reading this book and I'm gonna finish this book today. Like, that's how much I love Natasha Bishop. So anyway, this follows a girl who is fleeing her hometown because she is going through it. She's fleeing from somebody because she has been put through the ringer, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it's something very giant, something the plot line was very different than what you would imagine it to be. And so she doesn't tell her family or her friends what's going on because she doesn't want to put them in any more danger than she already has. She just ups and moves. And so she's trying to stay to herself. She's trying to mind her business because she doesn't want to put anybody else in danger because she knows danger is getting ready to come to her. And so she goes to this coffee shop because she worked in human resources, but she wants to be an author. So now she's writing a novel. So she goes to this coffee shop and the little girl and the owner in there kind of befriend her. And well, now we have found family has entered the chat, and anybody has read a good found family book, you know that's a top tier trope, found family, because some of these found family books, excuse me, will make you want to go find these characters, these not real characters, and go be friends with them. I love a good found family, and that's what this series gave, even the second book that I'll talk about later on that I read this month. But anyway, incoming is the owner's brother, which is the male main character, and so they kind of have a mutual attraction after something happened that was not funny. She saved somebody and he is a firefighter, and so they kind of start a romance. And so she's guarded. After a while, now we're building this friendship, right? We're building this rapport with one another, and she kind of breaks the shell, and so he kind of starts finding out what's going on with her, and it all comes to a head at the end of the book. And now she has done what she didn't want to do. And so yeah, the found family in this book, she was trying to keep them out of it. They were like, no baby girl, we got you, you are not alone in this, we are with you. And I loved it. So I do recommend this book. It's the first book in the Lost and Found series, so yeah, check it out for real. So then I read Between the Lines by Christina C. Jones, and this is part of the WAWG series. It's book number 1, and so this was a slow burn. And when I tell you slow burn, I mean like the book was dang near over by the time the characters got together. But anyway, it's a second chance romance. It's about a girl and a girl. She's an actress, and she goes to a table read only to find that her ex is at the table read too. They have done a movie or a TV show together before, and that's how they actually got into a relationship. Well, they broke up, and now they are on set together doing another show, and they still love each other. They still care about each other. It just was the wrong timing. And so you kind of see them again building back up to that romance. And yeah, by the end of the book, it was like you could have left them apart. I ended up rating it 3.5 stars. I definitely intend to finish out the series. I just don't know when. Because this book was just kind of just very mid for me. But I loved it. But it was just mid at the same time. So I have to, it's one of those things where I will read the series or read the second book in the series kind of just when I get to it. I'm not in a rush, because normally, y'all know me, I'll read a series back to back to back. I'll be like, listen, I don't even care if it looks like I'm just reading one giant book. Like, I know if I love a series, I'm reading that series back to back to back. The one thing that I just looked at my Goodreads notes. The one thing that I said about this book, I said I wish we could have done a deeper dive and intertwined their past to the present, because we didn't get a good look at the couple's past. We only saw them in present day, and I'm like, I would love to get deeper into what actually happened to get them to where they are now. So yeah, that's probably the only negative that I would say on it. So the next book that I read was On Merit Alone by Adorable Huckleberry Ordez. Now this is one of the books that I would recommend because it was so deep. It follows a female main character. She's in the WNBA and she's kind of known as a bitch. She's kind of known as, I forget the word that they use in here. She comes off very hard, very unapproachable, very combative and all the things, but she has a lot going on in her life. And this is why it's so important not to judge people, because you don't know people's childhood and why they are the way that they are. That's just a real life lesson, and in this book too. And so her and the WNBA and the team that she's playing with, they are sharing like a building with the NBA or whatever, because it's owned by the same people, I guess, or something like that. And so she starts this thing with one of the NBA players in the book. And so he kind of sees her and he's like, wow, there's something more to her. But she's still guarded. Like, she is guarded. And he's slowly breaking her down. Here again, we see where the male main character is just kind of slowly, I'm not going to push you to be with me, but I'm going to show you that I like you. And her character was so sad because she really hadn't healed from a lot of things. And she was very sensitive to a lot of things. And so, yeah, it was one of those books that was very, very deep, very, very emotional. And I did rate it 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite 5 stars because it was it was very long, first of all. And then also, I don't know, there was little to no spice. So if you're a person that doesn't like spice, you will enjoy this book. It was just strictly romance. It was just strictly character development. It was just her strictly trying to overcome things in her personal life, while giving into the urge to want to be in a relationship with somebody and have somebody possibly break her heart. So yeah, I'm trying to think, what did I write on my good reviews? Yeah, there was a lot of deeper things. Like I also love the talk about how women are treated differently than men. I loved how the author shedded light on foster care. There were so many intense but feel good moments throughout this book. I also wrote, girl, what was wrong with you this day? I said this book didn't have much spice in it. As a smut lover, I could appreciate that. So yeah, the romance must have been really heavy for me to be okay with it not being smut or having a lot of scenes in it. The authenticity of the romance without the sex was enough for me. Seeing them actually build their relationship was so realistic to me. Plus, I'm a huge basketball fan, so NBA specifically, I'm a huge basketball fan. So I ate the whole book up. So here we go. We're back with Natasha Bishop. I told y'all, when I love a series, I'm going back to it at some point within that month. Where We Found Our Heart by Natasha Bishop. So this is a surprise pregnancy romance. And I can tell you it's a surprise pregnancy romance because she's literally pregnant on the cover. I mean, you can see belly and all. So it wasn't one of those things where it happens in a book, and I would never give it away if it never said anything or showcased it. I would never tell anybody that. But surprise pregnancy is one of my favorite tropes. And yeah, this gave. So Lost and Found book series number 2. It follows Nina and Isaiah. And Nina and Isaiah show up in book number 1. So they're all connected, right? We're not even going to go try to break it down. They're all connected in the book. Like I said, we're talking about a series that is very heavy on found family. And so Nina and Isaiah are at the wedding to the couple in the first book. And so she kind of has taken on some responsibilities because something happens that you'll find out in the last book. Something happens and she is kind of stressed now. She's taking on new responsibilities. Like, her whole life just pretty much shifted. And so her friends see that. Found family, y'all. The friends see that and go above and beyond to make sure her responsibilities are taken care of and she could just go out and be free. Well, she ends up having a one night stand with Isaiah, okay? And Isaiah, they end up getting pregnant. And it's clearly meant to be because, whoa. So once she finds out, she tells him. He doesn't really react in the best way, but the reason why is because he has a story of his own, okay? He has a reason as to why he reacted the way he reacted, but he comes back and he does what he's supposed to do. So you kind of see them navigate not only becoming parents and trying to, you know, co-parent together before the baby gets here, but you see them build friendship. You see them say, okay, you know what, we did this real backwards, let's get to know one another. And so one thing that I love that they did in the book, every Friday they would have a date to get to know each other. It wasn't even about the baby, it was just about them two as a couple. And so that's when you see, sorry y'all, so you kind of see them build this rapport with one another and really get comfortable with one another. And one thing that I love epilogues, so I got to see them a couple years later settled in together and all the things. So I can't wait to read book number 3 in this. I do recommend it. I did rate it 5 stars, absolutely. So then the queen of banter. I know y'all say Abby Jimenez is the queen of banter, but baby, y'all ain't never read a Danielle Allen book, okay? Danielle Allen. So I did a whole video on Curvy Girl Summer, right? This is book number 2 in the Curve series called Plus Size Player. So let me tell you how I feel like I'm a little sexist, because I thought Plus Size Player was going to be about a man, because naturally when you think about a player, you think about a man. And so Nina, baby girl, Nina, I put this in the short. If got a white boy on my roster, he be feeding me pasta and lobster, was a person, it would be Nina. Nina has a roster of 4 men. They each give her something different. So she has the fun one, she has the romantic one, she has the funny one, and then she has the smart one. And so they each give her something different. But she doesn't want to get into a committed relationship because she's like, no one man can give me one thing. But there was one of them that gave her everything she needed. And so she's kind of shocked when she starts feeling like, yo, I'm in love. Like, I love this man. This one man that's giving me everything I need. Only there's conflict. Okay, I'm not gonna tell y'all what the conflict is, because y'all will get it once y'all read the book. You will pick up on it. It will pop in your head. You might not know that that's what it's gonna be, but it's gonna pop in your head and you're gonna realize, wait a minute, is this what's gonna happen? So there's a little conflict there. But baby, the way Russ showed up for his lady, knew that that was his lady, he was gonna do whatever he needed to do for his lady. Top tier. Russ got it. Russ just has it, okay? Like, he has it. The banter was good. Not only the banter with the female main character and the male main character, but the banter with, and it was told in one point of view, so just Nina, because it was Nina's story. Her just dating, and then her seeing her actually fall in love and realize, wait a minute, I'm in love with one person. But the banter between Nina and the man, the banter between Nina and her friends, the banter between Nina and her parents, like, the banter was bantering. The banter was bantering, and I absolutely loved it down. Highly recommend. It was a 5-star read for me. And the last book that I read was The Summer We Ran by Audrey Ingram. So this was one of my book of the month picks last month. I ended up getting 2 books that month. But yeah. This is a contemporary romance, and it follows 2 teenagers who have a summer romance, and 25 years later they are running against each other as governor of the state of Virginia. And so they have a lot of secrets, a strong past that is kind of either going to change the trajectory of where they are in their life altogether. And so that's what it just follows. That story, and it's told in a dual point of view, dual time period. So you go back to the 90s and then you go into present day, which I love. I ended up rating it 4 stars only because you get me with your writing style. The plot could be as basic as heck, but your writing style is what's going to draw me in. And so that was that. So yeah, 10 books, 3,206 pages. Those were all the books. I had a really great reading month. I'm excited for July. I'm excited to get into things. I'm currently in the process of reading Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I don't know if I'm going to finish it today. I'm filming this on July 30th to go up tomorrow, July 1st. Don't know if I'm going to finish it today. We'll see. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Have a blessed day. Shoot, hold on. Hey babe, I'm filming right now. Water. Don't piss me off. Alright, bye. We did it. Let me call my husband back and tell him I want something else from the grocery store.